the blockchain, you earn tokens in specific industries. And your employer can see how educated you are by the amount of stuff that you've read in your free time. Could that be the future of education? Why do I need to go on a course?
I would say no. I would say no. And I think the reason is, I think TF made a really, really great point about doing projects. Being hands-on and actually proving you can do something, proving you have a skill. Right? So do you have the skill to write a financial analyst report? Do you have the skill to build a public and private or private blockchain? Do you have the skill to build an AI that's capable of trading, right? And if you can't prove those things, then why would I keep your job? It's like, okay, you've read a lot about AI. It's like, so what?
So it's all about being practically tested.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll always go back to results, right? And in the end, we can market a education program however we want and package it and give it fancy names and so on. But in the end, it's always about the results, right? And I think that's really what we're talking about. Like, we're not talking about disruption for the sake of disruption. It's really disruption because it produces better results. It actually meets the needs better, and that's what is going to make it happen ultimately. And just a quick flashback on the question of the J curve, because I do that all the time. I would agree that, in fact, it's no longer really a J curve. It's now more of an inverted L curve. Okay? It's like this way, because it's absolutely true that it's not that difficult anymore to be an entrepreneur. I mean, the cost of starting a business or having a business model you can ride on in the new economy is fairly prevalent. It's not that difficult to start out as an entrepreneur. So you don't get the J, but you get a flat curve. But the challenge is always in who can actually scale and who can exit or who can achieve that takeoff. That, I think, still requires a lot more effort and talent, and that's really where the results at the end of the day come in. Yeah.
So let's talk about the costs of traditional education versus the costs of online training today. Where are we in the landscape? And I think you're probably most qualified to answer that, right?
So obviously, for the costs of traditional education, I think a lot of the cost goes into the lectures and the infrastructure, so the school and the sports teams and all those things. Online education makes it extremely affordable for anyone to pick up any skill within 3 to 6 months because we cut out all that fat. Right?
So what does an undergraduate degree cost at a good university in the United States? 3-year degree or 4-year degree, what does it cost? What does it cost for you to walk out of there with a degree?
So, at top universities, it'll cost you anything from at least $200,000 to maybe up to $300,000.
And when you walk out of there, you don't really have a skill that you can apply in the real world. You have a generic undergraduate degree in commerce or in philosophy or in marketing, right?
It depends on what you major in, but I would say that 80% of the majors don't really have a real
Okay.
skill.
Now, what is a normal online course which empowers me or gives me the skills to walk directly into the workplace and make a real difference cost to them?
There are, obviously you've asked me, we focus on tech training. So all of the areas that we train engineers in, whether it be web programming or AI or blockchain, all of these areas are really hot areas where companies cannot hire fast enough to cope with demand. On the other side, the other big sort of talent gap is also actually in the financial market. So in the financial market, especially in China, there's a huge demand for financial analysts, for quant traders, for people that do corporate finance, so on and so forth. And universities are not training fast enough to supply this demand.
Cost. Okay, let's get to the cost. How much does it cost me? I am an 18-year-old student. I'm an 18-year-old person who's just finished school. On my left, I have a university degree at one of the top undergrad degrees in the USA. On my right, I have an online course. What's the cost difference?
The cost difference is nearly 50 to 100 times difference. So the online course will cost you maybe at most $5,000 US, anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 US, whereas the university degree will cost you $200,000 to $300,000 US.
And do you think that you need more than one more than one course to arm you to go into the real world?
I think it depends on what your starting level is. So if you have zero experience, it will take you a little bit of time to get into it. But if you have a little bit of experience, like you can do a course, you can immediately get a job on a freelancing platform, start learning through experience and making money at the same time and being an entrepreneur. But it's something that you can immediately get after just one degree.
Richard, do you have kids?
Yes.
How old are your kids?
14 years old.
Great. So in 4 years, your kid, your boy or girl? In 4 years, your girl's going to come to you. And she's going to say to you, look, Daddy, I don't want to go to university. I want to do an online course on AI. So instead of it costing you $200,000, it's going to cost you $2,000. How are you going to respond that day?
Well, it's not a problem for me because I already do the saving for her education. Already, okay? I do a lot of money, put it in bank already.
What's your daughter's name? Okay, so Esther, I'm going to be Esther. I'm going to say, Daddy, I know you saved $250,000 for my Harvard education. Can you give me the $250,000 because I want to go with my friends to Ibiza? I will keep $2,000 and I will do an AI and blockchain course at Udacity. Great institution. How would your wife respond?
Well, it's really tough, right? But you know what? Actually, I studied the PhD program in school, in university as well, so it's very tough for me. But I would think, well, in the future, in the long run, I believe the traditional education is going to exist in parallel with the online education. But the traditional education needs to be changed, not the same as today. What it is, okay?
Yes. But how? How can the traditional education system today, when you walk into a university, probably in 3 years you'll learn about the blockchain. In 3 years, I don't think the blockchain will exist. I think we'll have a new kind of technology which we won't call the blockchain. How can traditional education, which is charging 100 times more, did you say? 100 times more. How can they compete?
Yeah, it's really hard. So I say the traditional education system need to be changed. Okay, need to change, have some innovation way to do that. And they not just simply give the degree, maybe give some specific certification. And back to the online program, actually, that more focus on more professional specific skill set. It's not like something you can learn from the society, the culture you can learn from the school. As I know, a lot of people, they don't do the professional skill set education in school, but they do something later on after the school. So it really depends. But to be sure to the answer, well, if I will respect whatever my daughter wants to do, no problem for me.
I'll tell you a little story. When I was in university between 1993 and 1998. I did one degree in between 1993 and 1998. I did a degree in finance, accounting, and investment management. I did not switch on a computer. None of my modules had any computer work in them, not a single spreadsheet, and not a single PowerPoint presentation in an entire degree. When I got out of university, and the first day that I got into a job, I needed to learn how to use Excel. That is my recollection of the traditional education system. If they're going to survive in a world of disruption, they're going to need to really, really change. Any ideas about how they can change?
Yeah, well, what I can say is, I did 4 years of education in a prestigious overseas university, blah, blah, and all that.
And you did a CFA after that.
After that. But if you ask me what I actually learned at the university, it's actually probably the social aspect of the university life, right? And the traveling and the experiential experiences that kind of thing, I think increasingly will become more and more part of what formal education needs to provide.
So you think that formal education is going to become much more experiential?
I think it'll be a combination of a lot of stuff that we've discussed, right? I mean, it can't just be a classroom, textbook based, no spreadsheets, no computers, type of stuff. But maybe there will be some jobs or some professions that would still require that. But I mean, in many cases, the fact that the world today is run differently, Right? I mean, my kids start using computers at 3 years old, right? They start reaching out to computers. So it's just the way life is today, right? And so the education, the way education is delivered, the content, I mean, all that would naturally evolve. So costs may have to come down. They have to justify why they're charging so much for if it's not going to lead to jobs and results. So I think that the economy itself will hopefully, adjust the way things are done.
Let's quickly touch on that. So how important is the social aspect once you've left school? Once you've left traditional high school, when you get to college and university, how important is it that you are surrounded by amazing people? I was further educated at Harvard, and the people that I met at Harvard formed the basis and platform of my business network. So every time I need something, the first phone call that I make is to my Harvard class. How important is that, and how much of that are you missing out on when you do online courses?
I think I would absolutely agree with TF's statement. I think especially in the next 10, 15 years, I mean, there's an estimate that 50% of the jobs, as we know today, are going to go away. And so what do you need to succeed in a world where AI has taken over most of the jobs out there? And the answer is you need creativity, you need problem solving, you need social networks. And those are the things that is really difficult for us to teach online. And that's why TF is absolutely right, a future in which there's a blend of online and offline so that at an offline university campus you can get the most cutting edge education. But at the same time, you can also get the sex, drugs, and rock and roll that comes with the university experience.
Okay, so I'm gonna hand it over back to you, TF. Harvard network, 3 years or 2 years of studying with Harvard people. Is that worth paying an extra 100 times the amount for?
It depends on what you do with it afterwards. Right? I think there are people who maybe go through multiple degrees from Harvard, Princeton, Yale, and maybe tick all boxes, but end up doing something that's got nothing to do with the networks that they have acquired. And then you can be someone who's gone to Berkeley, where I was from, for a summer program, and actually meet just over a summer program is actually what allows you to build fantastic businesses in a career. Right? So what you get out of it, ultimately, it's still really up to the person involved. And just by paying money and having a name ticked next to the box, that doesn't do it.
Final thought from you, Richard. Esther's going to come to you and she's going to ask you about whether she's going to Ibiza and to an online course or whether she's going to Harvard. Would you recommend the network to her? Is the network important?
Yes, I do believe network is important. That's what we are doing here. Network is very important, definitely.
Okay, guys, thank you very, very much. Thank you.
네, 다시 한번